So go ahead, Lisa.
I am brand new, and I apologize up front. I totally bore the socks off the seasoned veterans here. But my question, I have two questions actually. My first question is, when a lead comes in and they may have the email and address, but no name. Of course, we can get the name, no problem, off a tax record. It's not a problem. But will the StreetText automatic automation drips start right away, even without a name? And if that's there's actually two parts to this question. Would number one, is that true?
Yes. Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so when the emails go out, then they have no name. How are the emails being addressed to the people?
You can see that so if you go to your settings and you go to emails, all emails, you can see the way that they're formatted and they go out, and then you can customize it from there too. So
yeah, Lisa, on that, the way it works is there's it's called a merge tag, and it pulls in their name. So if you look in what Marcus, I think, is going to show you right now, it'll say hi, their name. And so if their name doesn't exist, it'll just say hi, right? So you might want to format that again to say hello, or you could do a salutation that's a little bit softer, but you can see as Marcus is showing right there where it says contact first name, if their name comes through their submission, it will pull it in there. So hey Marcus, hey Lisa, whatever. If there's no name, it'll just say hi and it'll remove that altogether.
Okay, which brings me to the second part of that question. Of course, I'm going to find out what their name is, and I'm going to edit that record right away. Once I edit the record and now their name is in there, okay, is the system going to resend it with their name or no? Okay.
No, once an individual enters the funnel, they are in that sequence from when whatever that funnel looks like at the moment the lead enters that funnel. That's the sequence that they'll continue to get. So they don't get, you can't go back and have the system automatically send things that maybe we didn't get or anything, but you could certainly, manually send some things to them. That's more what I would do is try to, after you've got that information, maybe turn off the automation and reach out to them manually with a little bit more of a personalized message.
Okay, perfect. Now my second question, to the ones that come in with only the addresses, of course, they're not getting anything, automated from the CRM. So I'm finding out their name and some other information. And should I take them at that point, take them out of address only, put them in the contacts, edit their information. And once I put them in contacts and edit their information, will the system automatically pick them up at that point?
Unfortunately not. That's as soon as they enter the system is their starting point, and that's the automation that they will get. So if they were an address only, they won't be part of that automation structure at this time. That's not to say that we won't be changing stuff, going down the road a little bit and adding the ability to move people into different drip campaigns. But for right now, no, when they come in, that would be, if they didn't have an email address when they first came in, they wouldn't be part of that drip sequence at this time.
Okay. And my final question, and I'll let someone else have the floor, and thank you for being patient with me. And my third question is this: if I have my own drip that I built in my own CRM, how can I, when these leads come in, stop, not the StreetText CRM, drip, I want my own. So how do I make that happen?
Yeah, I can answer that one as well. And Lisa, and this goes for everybody, there's no such thing as intro questions, dumb questions, bad questions. These are questions that a lot of people on this call are going to want to know the answers to as well. So any questions you guys have, these are all great questions, obviously. And the way I would recommend doing this is if you've got an external CRM, a third-party service that you guys are using, especially one that you're already comfortable with, familiar with, you've already got your drip campaigns mostly set up. What I typically recommend is turning off the entire drip campaign of StreetText except for the first message. I always still recommend having the first email still fire from StreetText and then have the rest of your leads sent to your third-party service. In order to do that, all you need to do is click on your settings gear, click on integrations, and then I would recommend simple email parsing. That would be the easiest way to do it. So if you go here where Marcus is now, settings gear, and then on integrations right here, you'll see all the Zapier connections. I would start with email parsing at the bottom there where it says add an email address. You simply hit that. Your CRM, and Lisa, what CRM are you currently using?
Engage More CRM.
Okay, so most likely, I haven't heard that one offhand, but most likely they're going to be able to give you what's called an email parsing address. And it'll be something like, some random string of numbers and letters, .lisakelly.leads@whatchamacallit.com. We can then email your leads as they come into that CRM, and that CRM can then put them into your drip campaigns appropriately from there. That would be the easiest way to do it.
Okay, I have the leads already zapped into that CRM, but there's some leads that aren't zapped in there because they don't have email. Okay, obviously, so I'm manually putting them in there, which is no problem because I got a handle on that now. Okay, what I really would like to have happen, if possible, is with the leads, when the leads come into StreetText, just let the leads come in. I'll make sure that they get into the CRM and, start to see them. Sometimes my schedule doesn't warrant me jumping on them like immediately. So is there a way to do that?
Yeah, of course. You can, instead of zapping them automatically, you could just export from the CSV file if you like as well. So if you're wanting to do it manually after the fact, there is the ability to filter the leads based on the ones that you currently want to export. And there's an export button. It'll download an Excel spreadsheet, in a sense, a CSV file. And then you can take that file and upload a mass list to that instead of having to manually enter each single individual one. I'm not sure if Marcus, if you're able to share your screen and show that part, but
yeah, actually that's what I did.
Okay,
But
perfect.
I'm sorry, I probably did not ask the question properly, and I apologize.
Okay.
Let me rewind a little bit. What I'd like to happen is when the lead comes in from StreetText, for nothing to happen, for StreetText to do nothing with them, period. And I'll make sure they get over to the CRM.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question though about that?
Do what?
So
Yeah, Leon, go ahead.
Two things that really jump out real quick. Not all the information parses over, so I would check first to make sure that all the important information is coming over into your Engage More CRM. And then the other thing is, when you said that you're not getting at them right away, my recommendation would just be to customize the automation going out so the StreetText hits maybe the first 3 or 4 days to give you the chance to catch up with yourself so that the clients are getting something to respond to, because we get busy and you might go to do something and forget it. Now you hit a client a week later and that week might be a week too late. So when I was parsing my stuff, trying it the first time, all the information I needed wasn't coming over. So what I do is I let StreetText run what it needs to, and then I've got the other stuff set up to pick up much later in my CRM so that I'm not doubling up and hitting people with 2 different messages from 2 different places. They're confused, like, why is she sending me all this garbage and unsubscribe from you?
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. So Lisa, I really love this question. But before we go too detailed in it, I think what we should do, we have a really awesome course class, the conversion class, which is really specific for these kinds of questions. But definitely let's kick this mastermind off with some wins to really get started, and then we can deep dive back at the end of the mastermind in some of these more specific kind of questions of how-tos and everything else. But the heart of this mastermind really is about sharing wins, learning from each other, sharing what's working and what's converting, and then we can get into more of the systematic type deep dive in the questions. No, you're awesome. That was a great question, Lisa. I'm really glad you asked that. Thank you. So
Well,
who's got some wins?
Who has got some wins? I know you got some wins. I'm not going to start calling on people.
Come on, man. I need some hope here.
Give John some hope. Give him some hope.
I've got some.
Go for it.
I'm Natasha, by the way. I'm in New Westminster, BC. And I have been running the ad for What's Your Home Really Worth? And so I haven't, and I've been running it with the map for the longest time. And I just keep stopping and starting it because the ad spend had gone up too high, like every single time. And I don't know if it's just that, Facebook is seeing the ad too often or what the deal is. But I started just putting kind of the most boring photograph of sort of the sign coming into the city area. And I've had, I've got my lead spend now is down to like less than $3. I've gotten 25 leads in the past few days just from this one ad. So it's definitely, and who would have thought? It's not a fancy ad. It's just, the picture of the sign of the, the area, and seems to be a much bigger winner than the map or, even just a home in the area or, just the one map that I did use that also did work really well was a map that I found on Google that was a highlighted area of the jurisdiction. It was like just in red highlighted. It wasn't the mapping feature that automatically comes up, but it was a photograph that I put in. That one worked really well too. So anyway,
on those, Natasha, that's great information, and it's so true. And I say this a million times, so anybody who's heard me say this, forgive me for repeating it, but it's so important. Less is more when it comes to the imagery, right? I mean, the whole idea why the map usually works is that it doesn't look like an ad. People see it and they go, oh, there's my area. This is me. Now, obviously, the more we run the same image in your area long enough, the more that starts to becoming, oh, there's that ad again. So it will lose its impact, certainly. But having another image on hand or on deck, so to speak, that hasn't been used in every other ad in the area for a million years, it's incredibly important. But again, as soon as you go too polished, you focus on a home, you do things that everybody else is doing, again, it doesn't stand out, or it looks like an ad, but you're also attracting the wrong people. So using imagery similar to a different map, or the one I like is an aerial view kind of the city, or really anything that really ties that location, but it doesn't scream, hey, there's that ad again. It's got a really good chance of working. And again, I can't say it enough times, less is more when it comes to these images. Don't make it look like an ad, and you're going to be much, much, much better off. So really nice to hear that, Natasha.
Yeah, way to go, Natasha. And so everybody, so if you are running an ad and you're seeing that your lead cost is climbing and you're just having a hard time, so you just took the sign of your neighborhood, like the welcome to, and then have a picture of that as your ad. That's awesome. What a great tip. So give that a go. And that's on the what's your home value. That's awesome.
Hold up. To play the devil's advocate real quick, don't just do that if you understand the 15 miles. If it's welcome to Orange County, that makes sense. But if it's
in context, in context for a 15-mile radius.
Let's just put that in context. All right, perfect.
Yeah.
15 miles, minimum influence, 15 miles. So we have to adjust.
Also remember that when you are running an ad in that 15-mile radius, figure out where the density is in that 15 miles, because that's where the most of the people are going to be clicking from. So that's going to skew Facebook's algorithm to that area. So if there's an area that you want in that 15-mile radius that has density, make sure that's in there. If there's an area that you want to exclude, move that map, move that targeting radius, because you want to keep the 15-mile, like the density that you want. But if you're in say a tri-city area, or you're in an area where there's a few different potential, communities that people will be clicking from, try to exclude the ones you don't want when you're doing the targeting. In the map, you keep it centered, but try to exclude the radius, because that way what you're doing is you're ensuring that your ads get in the greatest chance of being seen by the people that you want in the community that you're serving.
Yeah. And so, here's Las Vegas. Okay. What's your home really worth? Enter your address, receive your home value. I know Las Vegas is competitive, just like Orange County or those other areas. Yet I just started the split test at a $12 ad spend for AISA, and I can see some great results already happening for like $4 leads, phone numbers coming in. And there you go. Right. So at the end of the day, I have been having some great success with a satellite image in this funnel, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen for everybody. We have a thread going in the insider group where it's like, it didn't work for me. I'm like, well, just be, one split test doesn't always work. Sometimes you got to do another split, and sometimes another. It just depends on your area. Because remember, every time Facebook is resetting that performance for them with that first 5 people reached, so that is important to take into consideration. And sometimes you just hit the home run. So don't worry too much about it. Just make sure that you are A/Bing and splitting, and you will find predictability. We've never lost, like, it works. It worked on that funnel. But more importantly, let's talk more about lead conversion. Who is actually taking these leads into appointments, or having any sort of cool automation, email, a clever way of getting even your autoresponders to get someone to reply. Anybody having success with your autoresponder to reply? That's what I'm curious about, because that would be the main ticket. You could have an awesome automation that pulled in a reply. Anybody?
I have an appointment for next Tuesday, and she's been in Raleigh by StreetText for over 6 months, and I'm going to work a referral out of it as well because she's moving to Arizona. So the automation hit her up, and she actually turned around and sent me a message asking me to give her my phone number because she's got her phone set up with the spam filters, and if you don't leave a voice message or whatever when you call her, the phone numbers and stuff doesn't come across. So she sat there and hit me up last week, and I was supposed to go see her next Tuesday to sit down and start getting her house ready to list. So it works.
Oh, awesome, Leon. Congrats.
I have an appointment
Awesome.
today, guys. But the crazy thing, I got an email from this lady, and she's somebody that came in my StreetText in 2019. So she sends me this email, and she says, "We are ready to get our house on the market. Are you ready to help us do so? We need someone that has suggestions about getting rid of stuff that we don't want or need, then get the house on the market and sell it for the best price. We aren't going to do anything else to the house. We placed on a new roof and vinyl siding, and we are done. Let me know if you are willing to work to get it done." But later on in our conversation, as we're talking, of course, I'm like, "Of course I can help you." And she said to me, she said that they had scheduled with another realtor yesterday in the morning to come and do a walkthrough, and they canceled. So I thought it was profound because a lot of times we try to get the walkthrough, but a lot of times it's like, oh, it's just a walkthrough. But apparently this lady is really serious about getting her house on the market. So I'm doing that at 3:30.
That's awesome, Keisha. Way to go. Boom.
Oh,
Yeah, that's it. Play 100%. Like, treat every walkthrough like it's the listing appointment. And that's such a good reminder. Thank you, Keisha.
more shares. Or we could run a poll. Here, I'm going to run one for you.
I've been getting a lot of responses lately that say, "Who is this?" And it's a SMS response.
Perfect. That's a great segue into the poll we're running, because we have a great opportunity to change that. There's actually a post in the announcement section that Ira made about when people respond to that, "Who's this?" It's most of the time it's because they're not getting the first message, but they're getting the second one. So we have a great way of kind of showing you how to customize Julie to reflect how to make that work for you.
Yeah, I'd like to say, I mean, this is a blessing in disguise in that, Julie's been great for a very long time. But one thing that we've found is that telecom companies have become very wise to spam messaging. And when they see the same message, essentially the same structure, the same sentence being sent to, all of their different clients from multiple different phone numbers, my assumption is that these companies are starting to become wise to that and saying, hey, this is a spam message clearly, and they're not allowing that first message to go through any longer. And if you're in your conversation section, you'll be able to see that that first one went to be sent. We have a little red exclamation mark, meaning it was never delivered. So the next message they get says something like, just let me know if I can help. So that being the first message somebody receives from a number they don't recognize, the natural response is going to be, huh? Who is this?
Right. So that's exactly what happens. But the thing is I think in some of my research or support question or something, somebody told me that to go and change the auto response and actually put in their name instead of like whatever the little brackets are. I did that. It seemed to work on one, but now it's happening on other SMS texts. So I suppose I'm going to have to do that on every one of them.
What I would recommend, and this goes for everybody, is to look at the emails and the text message as the mechanism alone. The delivery schedules, I feel, are perfect. I think the day 1 email, day 3, day 10, the email structure in the delivery schedule is great. The text messages as well, they kind of fit in the right patterns. The messaging itself, though, and this is why I was saying I feel it's more a blessing in disguise lately, is that this is going to force each and every one of you guys to really look at those automations and personalize them. Make them your own. Don't rely on the messaging that others have come up with when it comes to this. This is your assistant. You're training your assistant to engage with these clients in the fashion that you want. Right? So I would look at the first message. I would probably leave the first merge tag where it pulls in their name, but I'd blow up the rest of it. I'd completely customize that first message and make it more of a warm introduction to you from your assistant, the way that you would like, using new words in a new stream or a new string, if you will, that it's not been done by everybody else. So again, these telecom companies won't see that as spam. They'll see it as unique. And I feel we'll start to see, and I've seen with a lot of my clients who've already done that, the delivery of that first message is considerably better. But also something to consider is make sure that in case that first message does still get spammed, that second message is more appropriate. And it doesn't say, just let me know if I can help. I like something like, hey, this is Julie just checking in again. I wanted to make sure you're receiving these messages. Is this the best number for you? Client first name, right? Yeah. Is this the best number for you, John? Right? Because then it's like, oh, sorry, I didn't, no, I'm not getting your messages, Julie. Yes, this is me, John, and now you have a much stronger foundation laid, in my view, as to how that conversation's rolling, as opposed to just, right?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do that because I just responded to one of them a few minutes ago and I got a unsubscribe me, please. So I assume somebody put his name in or his phone number inaccurately or something. So I'm gonna go stop the presses on him.
John, this is Grace. I've got a couple of who's this text message when they got the auto message from Julie or from the automation. The easiest way is just pick up the phone and call them and introduce yourself and ask them how you can help them. That way you get connection right away. They can hang up on you. Most likely they won't, because I set an appointment that way.
Thank you. And I guess that's why they call you Amazing Grace.
Yeah, so don't overthink it. Just pick up the phone and have a conversation. Oh, you didn't? Well, would you be interested in finding out the value?
Does Julie respond?
No. She's just there to start the conversation. You respond. So let me show you the example here. When you go into your conversations tabs, and you'll see that they all come in here. And I think you guys just moved this around, which is cool. And so Wendy got a lot of messages, so they're just populating. But so if Raymond says, thanks for your time, now you respond down here and reply, because once the text message has been responded to by the homeowner or whoever that is, automations stop, text messages stop, and then you actually would continue. And this is the only place you actually continue conversations from within your dashboard. You don't send emails in your dashboard. You just respond. If that lead has responded, you can respond as Julie here. or take over the conversation or do whatever you like.
The only problem is that if you don't respond quick enough, I mean, if you're out busy and you can't respond right away.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and so, you know, I'm one of those firm believers too, just like Grace, that picking up the phone is just always the best thing to do, and then leaving the message. But let me give you an example for some people that are wondering, you know, in your settings, most of you only have like one automation. Wendy's been with us for a long time, so you wouldn't see 1,000 ones. But what, like, the automations flow, and you can actually go edit them from within. So like, for example, you can see in this sequence on the seller side, the first thing that goes out is a notification that you've got a lead. And then the next thing is a email, and that is delayed by 000, meaning it's coming out right away. And you can change time delays on this thing. It's all customizable. And if you literally click on this email, you can see there's Wendy, who's customized her email. And this is why I was asking you guys for automations, if you've customized it, because the whole point of that first email is that that in itself is basically as if you were door knocking at their door. It's your introduction, right? They've raised their hand, so they're going to go back to their email because that's what they've given you permission to be contacted by. And if you don't have anything that's personal, then they're going to interpret that message whatever they want to interpret with, and usually that doesn't go into your favor. So this is kind of, sometimes you got to remember, this is your first impression, and if that impression is not authentic, it's going to be a tough one for you. So this is why we continue to reinforce, just get used to the idea that whatever you put in here or not put in here is basically what they usually see for the first time. And many times you're not going to get the phone number, of course, in this type of funnel. So this is like your first impression, first impression. So, you know, I always love the examples where people, you know, have like a fun little, you know, personality like Wendy, and then meet me on Facebook because she's reinforcing the relational side of this, you know. And so then she's also put in her, that's the email signature. So another one of those things too. And then you want to have an email signature that constantly goes out with every email. So there's a few other things. She's a follow-up boss user, so that's already integrated in there too. And she's got her own, I think I stopped, my internet went down for a second. She's also got her own text messages that she's customized as well. So you can see here to her day 3. She's got a day 6 where she talks about what happens when a home sells. And the opportunity to say, hey, this is what I want people to see, even if I can't get to them. And I think that goes a long way. And then her text messages are towards here at the bottom. And so she's gone in there saying, you know, I don't like the way Julie sends out texts. So in the first 3 minutes, I'm going to go in there and say, hey, Marcus, this is Julie. I work with Wendy. I see you're interested in your home value. Instead of saying home, it's a little home emoji. ... That's awesome. Is there anything specific about your home that may expect this value? Instead of saying IE updates, which is very AI-ish, she goes in there and changes it and says new flooring, updates, landscaping. So this is super easy because all you got to do is start filling in the text that you want. You can just take all this stuff as templates, but go in there and start throwing that in. And then, okay, just as we were talking about, let's say if they don't get that first message and then that second message comes out 11 minutes later, Julie, again, with Wendy's office, in case I didn't get it right, just want to let you know that Wendy just emailed you a quick intro video. She'll be sending you a video about your home value. These emails will be coming from lvsh.info@gmail.com. So if you don't see them, check your spam folder. Already telling them, you know, because we know that these emails can get lost in folders, right? Emails happen. So, you know, all this to say is you can take control of the narrative. And I really emphasize that, because if you don't, then you're just going to get a lot more of the same. And what you're experiencing right now is just the experience you've given those people. So it's up to you to create the experience you want them to have.
Right.
Yeah, I think I was afraid of messing it up.
Yeah, as soon as I, yeah, you won't mess it up. But as soon as I did all of that, I stopped getting who is this? So, because that is super annoying. And I'm like, why aren't they seeing that first one? So definitely customize the second one too, because it's introducing, it's saying who it is again.
So do you have to do it on each one though, or can you just change one master thing?
No, you change those, and then as the leads come in, those will be going out to each lead. So you're just going to change them once. So you can take a whole weekend, which is what I did. It was like a long 3 days. I customized all my text. I made all my videos, and you know, I like to send out videos in my emails because sometimes they'll see them and sometimes they don't. So, you know, it just gives them a variety. And then when we finally do connect, they know exactly who I am.
So do what Wendy does. That's like life lesson number one. Do what Wendy does. She takes action, she implements, and then she sees results. I think this is really, really, really key. It's, you know, the number one question you got to ask yourself for those automations is, how do you get responses? How do you get replies? So are you asking questions? Are you asking a question that a person has to respond to? That's number one. Are you getting a reply? Number two, are you turning those replies into conversations? Are you turning those conversations into, you know, now I'm talking to you, whether it's by email back and forth or by text message back and forth, or now I'm actually getting on the phone and actually having a conversation with you. And then number three, am I turning those conversations into appointments and into relationships? Am I creating those relationships? Do what Wendy does. I say, like, you just got your motorcycle license, right?
Yes.
Like, way to crush it. You spent 3 days to get your motorcycle license, and now it's with you. It's the same thing with your automations. You spent 3 days to get your automations. I've been observing Wendy for a little while. Like, she's been crushing it because she just, like, she sticks with it. She chooses a task, she does it over the 3 days. You just turned your, you created a, what is it, like the office trailer thing?
Yeah, my mobile she shed.
Your mobile she shed. I love it. Like, you woke up early, you went and you just kind of cleaned it out, redesigned it. You have a skill that I admire, which is the interior decorating type thing. Amazing skill. Anyone who has it, great. I applaud you. Like, my wife has it, I do not. But that kind of mentality, pick a project, do it, see it all the way through, and pick a project that's actionable over like a few days or 2 days or 1 day or whatever it is, and then see it through. I think that's really, really important. And Lindy or Wendy, like, how many deals did you do last year? You did
64.
64. Who here would like to do 64 deals? I don't know. That's pretty great.
So motorcycle clubs, right?
Yeah. So just take those, like, do those little actions, those, and then they build on each other. They build on each other, and don't overthink it. Like, if you're afraid of, you know, maybe like, you know, sometimes we overthink things. We want things to be perfect, and so it's like, well, I'm either gonna run 3 miles or nothing at all. And it's like, well, actually, just getting out of bed and going for a walk, that's really awesome. That's really good. So just do the 1 mile run. Do the 1 mile walk or whatever it is. It's still really, really good. You know, Philip, he might do 50-mile bike rides, but still a 2-mile bike ride is still really good. So just getting out there and doing that little step is so don't overthink it and just get it done.
64 deals. How many of those were StreetText?
I believe, oh my God, now I don't even remember.
It's on the insider group. You posted it.
I posted all the numbers in there. I'm already into 2021. So
I was just trying to get them a shameless. I was trying to get them a shameless plug, looking for a big number.
No, the thing is like, they're just endless. So I work with a lot of buyers too. I want a ton of listings, but I work with a lot of buyers too. And I work with a lot of first-time home buyers, which is really tough in this market right now. I mean, I'm not sure what your market's like, but ours is like pretty cutthroat. We have cash offers over list sold in the first weekend. So FHA buyers are struggling. So after losing out on 3 houses, I thought, oh my God, I have all these sellers in my database in StreetText, right? And I remember this guy, we talked back and forth, and he's like, I don't want to sell my home till it hits 300,000. And I'm like, okay, no problem. So I kept them updated, kept the HomeBot, you know, emails going every month. And my buyers are at 300,000. I'm like, okay, I'm going to check his value again, because the last time a couple months ago, it was just barely there. Anyway, so I checked it. We're there. And I just shot him over an email. I'm like, hey, not sure if you're still interested, but we could definitely get 300,000 for your house now. And I have a buyer. I want to meet. So he's like, oh, heck yeah. So we met. I was a matchmaker. And that's another good thing that you can do if you guys are working with buyers and struggling on these multiple offer. Yes.
That's such a good idea. That's such a really good strategy. So you're building a database of off-market listings.
Right.
You're building a database of people. And if you can start connecting the dots, think of the value you're providing for people in the marketplace. You have insight, expertise, a database, clientele that isn't even available to anyone else yet. That's huge. That's very smart. Very, very smart. Yeah.
So
that's why it's very important that if you're running a CRM, you need to tag your tags in there, because I do the same thing. I just go into my seller database with a price range and it pulls up every one of them, or I can do the area they're in by zip code, whatever. And I mean, I got like 2,700, almost 3,000 in the database. I don't have time to go one-on-one. So if you tag everything, you can find it in a hurry and match one up. I just did one yesterday for 1% with one of my sellers.
Right. No, I mean, it's awesome because, you know, just because you didn't close them all last year, we're going to work on closing some of them this year. So the seller of that home wants to rent for a while, and there's nothing to rent either. There's like 10 to 12 applications on every home, right? So I have an investor coming into town next week, and so I'm going to sell him a house in Henderson, something that they want so that they can rent it. Am I playing God? Because I kind of feel like I'm playing God. And there's nothing on the market for him to buy. So I have to go back into my database and try to find people in that price range. That way, maybe I could land him a house too. So it's awesome for all different kinds of things. That's my plug.
Yeah. Well, and I want to emphasize too, Wendy, one thing I really like about like the way you like, so this is your automated email, and I'll play it for everybody. But also you got to realize that when you look at her automation, there's only 38.54% of your 1,536 emails that have sent out that have been open. Okay. So we know there's like 62% that are not getting it, right? And we can go into numbers and talk about improving that. But at the end of the day, it's like it goes down and maybe kind of slightly goes up again, but it's not like you're relying. You can customize all your automations, but nothing's going to take over, you know, what your something like BombBomb. Now your main thing is to almost send that same message out again when you get a chance. And the way you do that is you create that same email, and all you got to do is literally copy it. And if you're familiar with the snippet, you just recreate it again. And the reason why you do that is when you add it in to recreate it, and maybe say, hey, just want to make sure you got this video before I send over the home value, right? Or, you know, can you let me know if you got this? You change it up just a little bit, change the subject line up just a little bit, maybe put their name on it. And then all of a sudden you've got tracking installed. And and that in itself is your main goal, because you need to ensure that that email is open, that video is watched, because that's your personality, that you're getting a response because you need to ask a question. That's a response. Sometimes we overthink it, but it's a yes or no. Sometimes you just can say, hey, did you get it? And then a click, you also can measure too, because you can actually see your tracking will show you if they've clicked on it. So for this example, you know, I'll play the video for you guys. And then she's got to meet me on Facebook, which if I click on her Facebook, I'm going to get to learn about Wendy and her life. And, you know, she's doing some hot yoga right here, and, you know, all these other fun things that she does, and plus some real estate, and, you know, her getting her motorcycle license. And, you know, it's that no-like model before I'm just going to trust you with my home. I need to feel like I can connect with you on a deeper level. So check out our first message. And if you made that an opportunity, like to digitally door knock, you can really go after that high open, but you have to be willing to take that from your personal email, not just from the automations as well. And I think you really got to go after it this way. So I'll play that so just you can see.
Hi there, I'm Wendy with LV Sweet Homes Realty, and I got your request online through my Facebook link to find the value of your home, and I am on it. I just wanted to check in and see if there's anything awesome you did to the property, any upgrades or improvements. If so, shoot me an email so that I have that information for the special report I'm working on for you. And then we'll go from there. And then if you want to get to know me, you can click on my Facebook link below and check me out. So anyway, I'm gonna get to work. So I hope you have a great day and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
I love your background.
I hope it doesn't really look like that when
So,
it comes.
yeah,
It's unfortunate. I'm suspecting it's Marcus's internet. So it's playing through his computer through the internet. So we see every like 5 seconds you move a little bit. Looks like you've invented your own dance or something. I like it. But.
Spastic.
Hilarious. But no, that's awesome. And the cool thing is when I sat down with them, like he actually watched my videos because he was like, oh yeah, I remember the email you sent me about your Move Once program. So can you tell me more about that? And I'm just like, oh my God, someone watched my shit. It's so exciting. So some people watch, some people don't. Just keep sending them out and hopefully someday you'll connect.
That's good advice. Staying consistent.
And I also recommend for people.
Sorry, Marcus.
For some people, you're getting way too many leads. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Did I get cut off? Some people are getting way too many leads, so you just need to down your budget a little bit. Is my internet off? I think everyone froze, except for John.
I can hear you. But yeah, that definitely, because you don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to over. Because then you won't be able to do your videos.
Oh, I think everybody froze me. Okay.
Marcus is cutting in and out, but I think I'll finish your sentence for you, which I think was a really good point. The same as Wendy was saying, is that it can be overwhelming if you're getting too many leads. So don't feel bad if you have to either slow down your lead flow a bit. You can do that obviously by decreasing your budget, or systemize. So if you have an automation, have your automation work for you. Leon talks about this all the time. Have your automation work for you. Have Julie work for you. The nice thing is that if somebody responds to Julie and they're upset, well, they got upset at Julie. They didn't get upset at you. So you just were able to weed that out. So you have a system that's working for you. If you have somebody respond to you, not yet, or not, I'm just looking, I'm just early on. That's awesome. That means in 3 months to 6 months, there's a deal waiting for you. You're going to want that in 3 to 6 months anyways. And so the key there is to dial your follow-up to a sustainable amount that you can, there's a system that you can scale with. It's a system that you can follow up with, that you can do all the deals that you need to do. You can grow your business to the dream that you have in your mind and your heart that you desire for your business to be, but it's something that you can now scale with. You can actually manage what you're getting. Isaac Verge, he's an agent out of Windsor, Ontario, I believe, and he's been with StreetText for I think more than 4 years now. And he gave me a really great quote, which I've remembered ever since, which is, he said, it's like, I try to bite one bite at a time. When I go to implement marketing, when I go to implement whatever it is I'm putting in my business, I try to do one bite at a time. And he chooses one thing a quarter. That's discipline. One thing for 3 months, that's discipline. And so he implements one thing a quarter. And of course, Isaac Verge is the #1 agent in his city, which is incredible. And he's there because of that discipline on how he implements what he's doing. And I think that that's a really simple, important tool, is that to be like really to stay on the top in real estate when things start to get busy. It's okay when you're looking for things to do, but in fast forward and you've got multiple transactions going on the weekend. You've got somebody who's trying to, you got a deal that you're trying to keep together. And then you have a bunch of other people that need your time to do some showings. Suddenly you're busy. How do you ensure that your lead generation is staying consistent so that next week or next month when you need that deal, it's still coming there? It's still going to be on your, the opportunity is going to be waiting for you. And the key is you want to automate, you want to systemize. And there's a few tools that are going to help you to do that. HomeBot is really powerful because it allows you to send home values week after or month after month. It's a great tool. HomeBeat in Canada Those are really, really powerful tools. So what it does is allows you to stay in touch and keep value. Same with the property drips. Property drips are great because you can add them to your MLS, like Matrix, if you have the Matrix, if you have a different tool, RP, you can use different tools. But you want to keep those property drips going, because what you're doing is you're building a database, which you can then prospect with, you can turn into business, but they're following you, and you want to make sure that you have all that business 6 months, 8 months, 9 months down the road when you need it, even if you got really busy this summer, which is the goal. We want all of you to be so busy that you've just elevated your problems. You've elevated your problems. And so the way to do that is you want to basically systemize the things so you can scale yourself. And that's really key, because otherwise it can get into easy to fall into the trap of saying, oh, I can do this really well if I do it myself manually. I can take care of this conversation really well if I do it myself manually. Well, you can, but it's hard to scale that. You're going to find yourself running around pretty quick. And so the key is you want to try to like bite things off one at a time, systemize, build a system that's good. That's a really good system. And then that allows you to scale your business so that when you get really busy, you're just like, yeah, I'm investing, and it's like farming. Farming is a great analogy for real estate, because every season you have to plant seeds so that you can have your crops to harvest. And so it's the same thing. You want to reinvest in the lead generation. You want to reinvest in your growth of business, and you want to do that when you're busy harvesting. So that's it keeps you growing. It keeps you consistent.
Love it.
One of your greatest tools is your phone. For people who are so worried about automation and afraid of that stuff, use your phone every day. You have a calendar in there. You have notes. If Julie kicks off because someone responded to the text, in my notes, I have text that I have already made. So when I have something come to notify me through my phone from StreetText, I can turn around and send a text or email to a person that's notes I've already built in my notes. So I can go in there, copy, paste, or text or email right out of it. The cool thing is if they have an iPhone, I know if they've opened the text, because they'll tell me they read it or at least it's delivered. So now in the famous Jennifer Stalker book of cool, I know they have an iPhone. So now I know when I want to send them a message, what exactly or how exactly I need to format it. So you learn how to deliver, and you don't have to overdo it, because someone asked the other day in the group, am I doing too much if I send this? And I'm like, no. In my automation, 3 the first day, and then however much you want to follow up, 1 email and 2 texts. My third text, the third message is a text that just says, hey, it's Leon, or hey, it's Julie. Just want to ensure you got the email and text I sent you earlier. I'm looking for a yes, no. Keep it simple. It's not that hard, but if you're in doubt, start with your phone, start there. I guarantee you'll turn deals using your phone.
That's awesome. That's a really good, yeah, follow Leon too. There's so many incredible people here who are really giving back and are doing really good things. So watch them, and then in kind share what you're doing, because you know, it's as you're learning, this is what makes this community so great, is that it's about constantly giving back. And there's this truth, which is there's more than enough for everyone. When you know that, it releases so much, because all of a sudden you realize you can't outgive, and there's more than enough for everybody. And that the more you give, it's funny, the people that give the most in this group are the ones that grow the fastest. And so look at that interesting interesting paradigm. And it really is like you hear the word contribution, service, you know, that really is the heart of it. And people pick that up on the other end. When they hear and they feel and they receive an email from you, and they knew that it came, like when it comes from a place of like where your heart is really like, hey, what's the best interest of this other person on the other line? They have, you know, their life savings might be in this home. They you know, scrimped and saved for, you know, 10, 12, 15 years to be able to get the down deposit to buy that home. And now they're looking at, who am I going to trust with my life investment? Who am I going to trust with this property? And when they get the message from somebody who cares, instantly there's going to be alignment there. Instantly they're going to say, oh, I can trust this person. I can trust this person with my investment, because, you know, when they meet you, they meet somebody who's professional, they meet somebody who's educated, they meet somebody who understands the market. And today's market is different than it was last year. And last year's market was different than the year before. And so the market is always shifting. And that's a really important thing to remember. And so people need an expert in the market that they can say, okay, I can trust my life investment with, so that you then are able to serve this person and help them navigate their next journey, their next step, which of course turns into great referrals, because people remember the people that, it's like that, what's that quote? People don't remember what you say or do, but they remember how you made them feel. And that is really important. Like I heard this yesterday and this really stuck with me, which is Dan Martell. He's a cool guy. He's got a good business. He has everybody on his team. He says, whenever someone interacts with you, I want them to leave in a better mood. Isn't that a powerful thing? Like if you have an assistant or if you have somebody on your team and they know that, every time somebody interacts with you, I want them to leave with a better mood. That's a powerful way to build a business. It's a powerful way to build a brand. And it shifts the mindset of getting a task done to, am I serving the person on the other end? And it's very, very powerful. But yeah, so let's open up. Any more wins, shares, questions? We should be opening this up to questions.
I have a quick one if you have a moment. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sure. Yep.
Okay. Newbie question. One, I'm on that 7-day trial thing. I'm about to sign up with you guys. But when Wendy has her automation running, do you just let that run until the person responds and then you give them their property valuation? Or do you go ahead and insert that somewhere within that conversation, regardless of their response?
Yeah, so basically, as soon as the lead comes in, they get a text from Julie and they get my email saying I received their home valuation and I'm on it. And then I have 4 days. I usually can get it done same day if I'm on task, but I give myself 3 days to get my video CMA done. So I do a video CMA and send that out through Follow Up Boss. And then because day 4, they're going to get another video through the automation asking if they got my, home valuation. So I kind of have a deadline for everything. So then that happens day 4. And then day 7, I think I send out, a video about how to use HomeBot. And then we set them up on HomeBot. So they'll get that report and that video. And, a couple of days later, they'll have are we Facebook friends yet? So like, that's the whole thing about the funnel. It's gonna keep going as long as you want it to, as long as you build it out. But yeah, as far as the CMA goes, you definitely don't wait for them to respond because they asked for it, give it to them. You know what I mean? It sucks when you ask for something on the internet and then you never get it. Like some things I order from China that never come and then I totally forget and then I remember and I'm kind of mad about it. You know what I mean? So make sure you're giving them what they're asking for.
Because I was doing off of our range system, we have a remind thing where it kind of gives them a basic value. Now you said you did a video home evaluation.
Yeah, so I do a video through BombBomb screen share. So if you don't have that, like the videos that you see in all my emails, those are through BombBomb. You can connect, StreetText with BombBomb, and then you'll be able to upload your videos there. The cool thing is that they're all trackable. So you can see how many people, watch your videos and stuff like that. And they're easy to put in the email. So there's a couple different video places, but BombBomb is the BombBomb. So get it, it's worth it. And then you can screen share. So if you pull up your BombBomb Chrome extension, which you'll download onto your computer, you'll be like this little bubble in the corner talking. And so I bring up Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, and then my CMA. So I show people what the internet's best guess is, and then I show them what I see. And then I tell them, you know, in order to get a true value of their home, I would actually need to see their home, you know, see what kind of updates they did, what they haven't did, and go from there. And then I have a link below the video that they can click on and pick the best day and time for me to come by, check out their house, and answer any questions they have. So I may have said that a couple times or a couple thousand times.
On the
It's easy.
Sorry, I did download BombBomb. I've been using it for a couple of days, and I agree it's the bomb. Now, my only concern would be how long your videos are, because it sounds like, you know, you could make this a very long video.
No, I try to keep them 60 seconds or less, because on BombBomb, it'll say play 1 minute video. If you go into a long, boring, drawn out, you know, report, then they're not going to want to watch a 5 minute video, especially, you know, in these days, you'll lose their attention span. So I just give them a quick breakdown of, you know, what I see, and then, you know, our MLS sales, and then get the appointment. So it's, I don't know if you guys have a copy of one, Marcus.
I'd love to see a video of that one.
Yeah, I could post one in the thing.
Yeah, post one in there, and then we could play it. I made John or host, so I don't have that sharing capability anymore.
That's all right. Yeah, I'll post it in an Insider just so you can kind of see what my video CMA. I mean, and there's so many different ways you can do it. That's just what I do, and it seems to work pretty good. So, especially if you're smiling.
I was gonna say, whatever you do, it's just be you, be yourself, and help them identify why you're not giving them the internet's best guess, right? Like everybody knows, like hopefully you know at this point, you can Google your address or any address right now and have Zillow, Trulia, Realtor, Movado, Redfin say something about the home's value. Even in Canada, there's something that will come back. So let's address the elephant in the room. Let's also address the idea that everybody thinks when they click on that ad, they're getting market value. So if you're aware of that, you learn how to overcome objections. It's all about overcoming objections with this tool. And if you learn how to do that, you always you always go for the appointment, ask for the appointment, offer 2 available times that you have in your calendar. You overcome that objection with, hey, we can do a Zoom or a FaceTime, you know, hint, FaceTime. You just find their Facebook, they find yours, and you just pick up the FaceTime, right? And you can have them show you around. Oh, if that doesn't work, that's cool. Why don't you send me a few pictures? Objection, right? And if that still doesn't work, then you go in and do your own little MLS interpretation that's more favorable than what they would find on the internet, and explain why you believe that price range is how you came up with. And you could even show them through a screen recording how you went into your MLS, pulled up similar square footage, bathroom, blah, 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 with a pool, you know, with comparables that are more local and with the recent sales. And this is what you would position the home on the market for. Instead of saying sell, use position. And then just at the end, just say, whenever you're ready, all those options that I discussed before are available. Just send me a quick message and I'll tune this market value for you. And always use words as well, like, hey, this is just a rough draft. This is my preliminary finding. You know, this is not accurate until I'm able to actually get into the home.
Right. I was thinking I was thinking of adding in you know, because we have, you know, just maybe saying something like, and FYI, my last 5 listings had multiple offers over list price and sold in 1 weekend, you know, so maybe that they can get excited about possibly even making more than what I'm, you know, giving them as far as value.
Appeal to the greed. No, but the bottom line, even like Jennifer Salter says, give them what they asked for. That's what they asked for. And then you're doing the follow-up. But definitely, instead of winging it, make sure you go look. I use Bing, Wendy, and it'll pull up Zillow, Realtor.com, and all of a sudden click, and my screen's already set. You need to know what they're looking, so you know what their mindset is, so that when you sit here and engage with these guys, you already know where I hate to say where their feet are dug in at. Because like when Wendy was saying, that guy that wanted 300,000 for a house and she had to wait. So if you're in there and you're looking and you do your research, when you drop the report on them, we're the expert, we're the knowledgeable one. You got to be the good resource. So definitely do your research before you send it, and then just give them what they want and keep it short and simple. Because if you over deliver and give too much, they don't need you. So make sure they always have a reason to want to need you.
Right. And in the video, it basically, most of the time, they're so far apart. So I'll be like, Redfin says your home is worth this, Zillow says it's worth this, and Realtor.com says it's worth this, and because they're usually like $50,000 more than everybody else. And then I get just say, so online values are sometimes very confusing and can be all over the place. So I like to dive right into the MLS and into their community. So yeah, proving that the internet is a little all over the place helps you, helps them want you. So
that's awesome. I see a couple hands raised. Harry, Linda, who wants to go first?
Go ahead.
Harry, I think you're up.
Oh, okay. So my question for Wendy is, if you have an address only with no name or email or anything like that, what do you send? Do you send them something in the mail, I assume?
I certainly do. We have a postcard that basically has a picture of our ad that they clicked on, and then a little Facebook logo in the top so that they know, and then on the back, it just basically says, we're working on your home value, but you forgot to finish filling out your form. We need your email. And then I put a link in there to where they could just go type it in and then finish filling out there. And we've actually had quite a few come back. So it's kind of exciting, but I mean, quite a few out of 100, or 500. So it's not a ton of them, but it's, a way to get them back into theirs so they can send us more info.
So you don't send them any sort of like RPR report or anything like that?
No, I want them to get into my system.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Linda.
Okay, thanks. Questions twofold, could be for Wendy or for anyone. I initially, followed the idea of the, Zillow has this and Redfin has this, but I found when I did my home evaluations on Home Beat, they were pretty much with Zillow and Redfin, but it sounds like Wendy and other people's experience, they were way off. So just trying to figure out kind of how to pivot from that. And then just what the last gentleman's question was, when people don't finish, I kind of like that idea of Wendy, what you just said, send them a postcard that you didn't finish, because I'm finding that a lot of people click, and then I was wasting, I consider it a waste of time. I was doing all these reports on Home Beat, and then no response, and or they're giving me bad addresses. So anyway, that's right. Just so my frustrations.
For HomeBot, when we set them up in HomeBot, we put the numbers in the comp range that we pulled comps, because I want HomeBot to be pretty close to what I was saying. So, so when because we pull comps for the CMA anyway. So when we go to do HomeBot, we just go in there and, fix their CMA to where their value is pretty close to what, we are saying. So that's kind of how we do it, because it's another internet tool, that's going to give an automated value unless you tweak it. So does anybody else tweak it?
Yeah, I just was finding that the range was very similar to Zillow and Redfin, because they're looking at the same comp, probably the same comps. You're right, we can tweak it a little bit more, but so I'm like, because I initially thought, yeah, that's a great idea, that I would show them that Zillow and Redfin are way off, but I'm like, I wasn't finding that. So I was like, no, I got to pivot to kind of a different idea. to catch why they would want to use me instead of, just going on the internet themselves. So,
Right. Yeah.
So a spin on that, because like for us here in the Seattle area, Zillow just became a brokerage. So their prices had always been off because it was public data. So the reverse of that is, since we're always talking about the internet really doesn't know the true value of your home, go find a couple sites that are off. And then you can still include those in what you're doing, so that when you're showing it, because you're driving home the point that, you never know where someone's going to go look for value. It might not just be Zillow, Trulia, whatever, meet somewhere else. So as long as you have a couple other tabs that you might pull up showing that the prices are just scattered all over everywhere, you're getting your message delivered.
Right. And Zillow and Trulia are merged, so they're pretty much the same now. So
yeah.
I don't use Trulia. I just use Redfin, Trulia, and Realtor.com. And still, yeah, I'm not sure about your area, but Realtor.com always prices it up. Probably because they're not trying to buy and sell their home like Zillow. But anyway, sorry. That was not nice.
No, one of the things I've noticed though on a couple of these sites, they're not giving the price. They're trying to make you ask them for what the estimate of value of your house would be. So that's another one I include in there, because when they look at it, we say, look, these guys won't even tell you the price of your home. So that's where you're using your competition to help you instead of hurt you.
Right. I always say Redfin thinks your home is worth this, and Zillow thinks it's worth this, and Realtor.com doesn't even know what your home is worth. So yeah, the more you can joke around without actually being super negative, they'll appreciate it. I think we lost all our hosts. So Leon, what you want to do?
I'm about to do some training. Got one of my agents that I'm show some lead generation stuff too, and then I got to go do a walkthrough video on a house for somebody.
Nice. I'm training agents too. It's so much fun. It's been a while since I did that, and it's exhausting, but it's awesome. They're so excited and so full of fire and ready to go. And I just got
what do you always hear me say? They have no bad habits.
I know, right? That's the thing. I was trying to figure out if I wanted to go brand new, and I just kind of like it. So hopefully they turn into something new.
New thoughts.
Hey, I have another question since you guys are training new agents. Since I can't put, I just sold a listing, and because I haven't had my first listing yet. What did you guys do before you had all these great things to share, and how many listings you had, or you sold over the price?
So here's the secret: piggyback off other people's success. Find out what your office is doing. Find out how many sales you've had. Find out what's going on in the area. People, unless you steer people in that direction to make them really ask a question, they won't. And if you need to, your first listing or two, I honestly recommend get a seasoned agent to come out with you. I always say we pay our dues. So find a seasoned agent to come out and list with you on your first couple, just to get that down. But definitely when it comes to your numbers, you use your office, use your broker, use somebody in there and piggyback off them. That's what they're there for. You're paying them money. Hey, get your money's worth.
Yes, use we and us, because you are now a part of a team. So my agents always say we've helped thousands of people, buy and sell in Las Vegas. And they say we, because they can say we, because technically they're we, so use
right. Okay, that's a good strategy.
Yeah, I brand, and I'll tell you what, think about this. I don't care if you're a team of one, you're still a team. But if you really break it down, you have Julie, you have your broker, you have whatever lender you're working with, you have the title company, you work together as a team kind of thing. So get that team concept in mind, because people love the fact that there's more than one person. They think, oh yeah, I got a whole team working for me. It just run with it.
Yeah.
You know how they say a lot of reports and will say that people will usually go with their first agent. But I find that people they're interviewing 2-3 agents. That's been my experience. They're not just like the first person that contacts them.
Well,
do you guys find that's an old statistic?
No, it depends on the type
contact it is. If someone sits there and you were to get a hold of them and they've been sitting for a while and no one else has been calling them, first one in there, usually you stand the higher percentage chance of getting there. But if they're doing like the one thing you need to always remember, just because they came on StreetText and found you doesn't mean they weren't on 10 other sites as well. So when they have a multiple bunch sitting there, especially in the current market, people are so much smarter. They're saying who's going to do the most for me for the least amount of money, and they're looking to get that deal. So in that case, there, never approach it with the thought you're the only one. Approach it with the thought that I'm going to be the one.
Yeah, be the one. Yeah, I just found that, when I'm out prospecting, I do door hangers, and, sometimes I run into people outside and they're like, well, yeah, or if they had just listened, I'm like, oh, what made you pick that agent? And, oh, well, I went on the internet and I wanted to see who had the most sales. I've heard that quite a few times, which makes sense. I would do that too if I was listing and wasn't in the business. So I just found like, I think that's an old statistic that people need to stop saying, because I don't think that's necessarily the case these days. Of course, that's my limited research. My personal research.
Let me ask you a question. What do you put in your door hangers?
I have a door hanger that says list with your neighborhood realtor. I have a really nice picture, one of the few pictures I like on myself. And then on the back, I put some information about COVID stay safe, COVID websites update. And then I have a little blurb about, I've lived in Altadena, Pasadena all my life. I'm your neighborhood agent. And then I go to my Facebook page for a free home valuation. And then I, show how to get there. And then at the very bottom, I'm also a mobile notary, and I put a little blurb on that.
So are you hanging just a regular door hanger, or is it a little package that goes over the door?
It is both. I do door hangers, and I also did and still trying to get out little calendars in a plastic I give them, some people a door hanger with a calendar, a refrigerator magnet with my information on it, something they keep. So,
are you farming just one specific area, or are you just picking different areas to do?
I'm doing Altadena, Pasadena.
Okay, so one thing I started to say that I would maybe think of adding to that, because it's easy. I would be, the day you get ready to go out, you figure out how many you're going to do door hanging on. I would print out the latest solds, even if you go active pending solds, if you don't have enough solds in the area. And actually actives is good as well, because there won't be any. And so you might want to just hang, and you don't need the full-blown pictures. It could just be something showing, God, ours is like single line display I can print out. It'll show show what it came on the market at, shows what it sold at. And then you can sit there and say, ask me how I can get you more money for your home. And when they're looking at that market activity, because people's curiosity is what you have to feed off of.
Oh yeah, you know what? Because that's a good idea, because the house just listed over 100,000 of a colleague of mine, and in my area. And I thought, well, I don't want to post that, because if I was that person, I'd call that agent, not me. But just list the house and the information. Okay, and just cut out the agent information.
Yeah, the agent information ain't on there, just the address, the list price, sell price. And even if you only do the last 30 days or the last 10 or whatever, give them, say, ask me how I can show you how to get these kind of results. Drive them to you. And then the other thing is, on your thing going out, StreetText has now incorporated the private domain. If you put your domain on there, out of curiosity, they might come visit you. Next thing you know, you got Julie talking to them for you.
Okay.
You think
sounds great.
Yeah, but that's
what thanks. Good idea.
Leon, I like that idea that you just, because on the range system, what you can't see in other sites is what we can, and that's what it started at and what it ended at.
Yes.
And all the numbers in the world, realtor.com, etc., aren't going to tell us what the market is really doing as far as overlist price. I mean, everything here in Hampton Roads is just like everywhere else, is going way over whatever list is almost exclusively.
Yeah, 30 to 40,000 over. I got some buyers, one of my agents is working that I've been helping her with. And we had to tell them flat out, the perfect deal isn't good enough. They went and asked their parents for money. Their parents gave them 50 grand so they can compete in a market like this, because that's what they're going to have to pay over price. So that's also something I incorporate into what I do. And for people who want to think about videos and don't know what to send out, go do a video on the market, show what the prices are going over, show how you can, I target sellers right now. Buyers are a byproduct of listings. And so
so many buyers, I need listings, just like everybody else does.
Yeah, so the other thing, so here's one for you. Nugget of the day, go in your MLS, go back 18 months. Don't go back 6 months, go 18 months back, see what's sold, or actually see what canceled and expired or temp off market, and then cross-reference it to make sure it didn't come back on or get sold, because those are the guys that couldn't sell or didn't sell at the time. They probably rented them. And now that you sign a rental agreements for a year. So now that year is up, sometimes some of these folks still got them sitting there being rented. They're not thinking about it because it's not cost them anything. And the rental companies don't want to tell them, hey, why should I take away my monthly check for this rental I got right here? So go after those. When they say farming and looking, go through MLS. When you send them something, like I say, the big thing is, now that we have our own private domains or personal domains in StreetText, include that in what you send out, because I laugh at 11:30 at night, 12 o'clock at night, 1 in the morning. My stuff is blowing up because people are looking when they think agents aren't going to call them back. So just, incorporate what you have. You don't need to add more. You just need to use what you got.
Marcus.
Yes.
Can you show everybody, because I just got a message on what link to put on the postcard that will link them to the.
Yes, and I don't want to be the voice on that, because I know that there's like until everybody's merged over, I don't think you can actually park your domain, like it'll go back to that specific seller. So let's confirm with Steve and John real quick before you put those on your mailers. Because I think right now, if you were to do that, there's like a couple little numbers after it, right? When you hit that number, when you hit your URL. So I'm not positive that if you just gave them the URL, it would go back into the lead capture form just yet. So they're trying to resolve that right now. I think right now it's just the way to make sure when the conversion pixel goes down, or the conversion objective with the Apple iOS updates, that's resolved. But I wouldn't say.
Right. So in the meantime,
I'm not gonna.
Right. In the meantime, if you want to do one, click on your ad. And so you can see it in Facebook.
Yes.
Copy that link, go to bit.ly, and then shorten it up. You can even do custom.
Yes.
I do a custom.
Yeah, and then put it on there. My link.
That's what I would do. I'm sorry.
So draw.
I definitely do a custom bit.ly, because you only need to do it once.
Right.
I'm going to get you an answer, Wendy. I just don't know the answer as yet. So let me get you the answer. Let me get the group the answer. And I'll have that confirmation in the insider group.
Okay. Someone wanted to see my postcard, but I'm not able to put it in the chat. Do you want me to share real quick?
Yeah, I'm going to make you a co-host so you can share it.
Okay. All right. Can everybody see?
Yes.
So basically this is the front. So it's just a picture of, and I just saved it from the ad, put it on there, put a little Facebook icon on there. And it just says, thanks for inquiring about your home's value through my Facebook link, but we still need your email. And then on the other side, it just says, hi there, the Las Vegas Henderson market is surprisingly still super strong, as I've been helping people buy and sell right through this crazy time. I probably should do new cards. That was like as soon as COVID hit. So, anyway, it's still crazy. It's always a crazy time in Vegas. I've created a personalized video for you about your home and then I write their address in there. And then if you can text your email to me at blah, 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 email it to blah, 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 or complete your request at blah, blah, blah. I'll send it to you ASAP, and then I personally sign. So that's what goes out if I don't get their info.
You guys see that? I can't see it myself.
You can't?
I can. Did you guys? You saw it, Leon?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see. I can see it. I'm on my phone, but I can see it.
Okay.
It's blurry, but I can make out the gist of it, the general design.
There it is. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I love it. There we go.
So all that fits on a postcard, Wendy?
Yeah, the top is the front and the bottom is the back. The only thing
okay.
The only thing I recommend you doing is making it landscape. I've had quite a few postal issues having it portrait because it doesn't run through their machine properly. So
Right.
I had to put them in an envelope because I bought like 1,000 of them, you know, and I don't want to waste them. So I put them in an envelope so we can just get them out. But yeah, we've got quite a few back. So, but there's so many different ones you can do. Just go into Insider Group and people have some amazing stuff there. So
Codes, I recommend strongly, if you're gonna do a postcard mail out, I strongly recommend the QR code because it can drive them, it'll drive them where you want them to go.
yeah, now that you can use the camera with the QR code, that's actually pretty cool.
Thank Walmart for that.
What happened? What?
In Walmart, because when everybody's so curious, what's the price, and you scan the barcode. That's why the technology got up in a hurry. Is places like that where people just needed to know what the price was. So that technology filtered over to us, and it definitely made a difference.
Wow, that is cool. I did not know that. But yeah, I noticed that going to restaurants and they make you scan it to look at a menu now. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
So
I know.
Canva is free. They have QR codes in there as well for people that want to do that. There's a couple. I think I do Tiger QR. I put Facebook emblem, their logo, in the middle of my QR code because I hate to say it like this, it's a trusted brand. So people see that QR code and go to scan, like, oh, Facebook, huh? They'll scan it, you'll get your opens.
and you just put it in the middle and then create it? And
Yeah,
it'll create it
I think
around
so I went top 20, I went top free QR codes for like 2020, but when I did mine, and Tiger QR was in there, but there's the QRs that let you can put your brand logo, anything in there, but I would put something they trust. They found you on Facebook, so why not use the Facebook logo? And you'll get better opens.
Awesome. I'll work on that because obviously I have to update my postcards, but
I've got some new ones in the works too.
awesome. Can't wait to see them.
Share it to the group. All right, guys, we'll let you go. Thank you so much. I'll promise my internet will be better next time.